Hello everyone, it's Marquita, but you can call me Q. I'm here to help with your inner healing and God, to help you navigate blockages and pains, keeping you from fully embracing God. Today I'm going to be talking about how and what you can do to fully trust God. Full trust in God requires complete surrenderance and faith in God. To completely submit yourself to God at His feet in humbleness and meekness, and allow yourself to be opened to God to heal you and to embrace you. Full surrenderance is key to your trust, because if you aren't fully surrendered, you're still holding on to control. There's certain aspects and certain parts of your life you are refusing to give God. Full surrenderance is giving your whole heart to God in all your thoughts, needs, wants, desires, emotions, pain, and traumas. A true surrenderance of your soul, your will, your mind, and your emotions to God. This is something I did not get until I reached this full circle moment with God. This aha moment about the realization of the power, glory, grace, mercy, and reliability of God. This moment brought me to have full trust in God, full faith in God, a freedom to walk with God in faith, to have my faith walk match my talk. How did this happen to me? I had a humble moment before God. Like Hannah, I found myself at the feet of God in full tears, crying out loud to God. This occurred 2 days after I had casted all my burdens to God. Once I revealed to God the desperation I was hiding behind my back. Once I fully surrendered myself open to God, I had this moment at the feet of God where I was in total tears, humbled to God in prayer, and just anguish in this pain I felt in my heart. In that moment, I had realized everything that had been holding me captive in my journey, everything that was holding me and keeping me stuck and stagnant. And it was in that realization that I was granted freedom in God. I was granted wholeness, and I could feel the completion of me occur to God in that moment as I cried out to God at His feet, as I gave my everything to God in that moment. Finally, my eyes were open, my spiritual eyes were opened to the goodness God had bestowed upon my life, to the miracles He had worked for me in the desert that I did not recognize, or I recognized but I still complained. Finally, my eyes were open to see how glorious God was, how powerful God was, and how He truly did provide for me, for my needs through my complaints. God was still there providing for me, and how I kept myself stuck and wandering in the desert because I refused to surrender myself to God. I didn't see the miraculous things God was doing for me in the desert. Now I ask you, what is holding you hostage in the desert? What is keeping you stagnant? These answers are the key to unlocking your momentum, to moving you forward, for allowing God to direct you in that desert you have been stuck in, complaining in, while God is still holding you and caring for you and providing for you in it. You're missing the miraculous wonders that God is doing in your life because you are too busy complaining. You are too stuck in looking at the things that you want, that you believe you need, the things you left behind that you wish you could go back to. You're too stuck on your pain, your hunger pain that is preventing you from moving forward. I'm asking you to cast these to God and allow yourself to experience freedom in God. What was holding me captive in the desert was the mold behind my back, the desperation I was hiding from God behind my back, and the fact that I had took this leap of faith with God to take the Exodus and that I got lost. The fact that I followed God and got lost and the mold I was hiding behind my back held me captive. I became like a child who goes with their parent on an outing and they're holding their parent hand and they want to go play in the park. And they trust their parent enough to let go of their hand and go play. But in the midst of the playing, to turn around and not see their parent there, and they begin to panic. That is what happened to me. I turned around and I didn't see God, and this mold that I was holding was sitting there growing roots, and I began to feel lost. I got stuck and was held captive there in that moment. I was overcome by fear, worry, doubt, and frustration. Where did God go? God, where are you at? What happened to you? And this caused a hindrance in my walk. It caused a delay in my movement because I was sitting here complaining, "What, God, where are you at? I can't see you. What are you doing?" I started to question God and what he was doing. I tried to take life back into my own hands. Yet there was still something there blocking me, still something I could not move past, and I had no idea what it was at that time. It wasn't the fact that God had left me. It was the fact that I had lost sight of God. I had got too distracted and caught up in my own burdens. I was too distracted by the things around me, and then I was burdened down by what I was hiding behind my back, that I missed God's movements in my life. I didn't see the way God was positioning and moving in my life. In a way, I had stopped paying attention to God and started complaining and moaning and slowing down because what I was carrying with me. I was heavy, and this caused misalignment with God. This loss of sight of God caused misalignment and delay in my life. How have you stopped paying attention to God? How have you shifted from watching where God was moving to watching what is around you? In this moment of misalignment with God, I panicked. Here I was carrying this burden around with me behind my back, a remnant of Egypt. And now I looked up to see God was nowhere to be found. And I started complaining. This caused mistrust. This caused misalignment, confusion in my life. And it was in this moment I came to full and complete surrenderance to God. My full surrender moment, I began to cry out loud to God. I cried so loud that God came looking for me. Where are you? He approached me with his arms wide open, ready to embrace me. And I just fell to my feet and gave everything to him, surrendered it all, my whole heart. I surrendered it all to God in that moment. What was behind my back, how I was stuck, and everything that happened. I just gave it all to God in that moment. I knew I couldn't get through the desert without him. It was hot, it was lonely, and I needed some water. And God came with the fresh water. I needed to fully surrender myself to him to gain his strength and his healing to make it through the desert. Full surrenderance comes with expressing how you truly feel to God, what is truly going on with God. Get a journal and write it out. Tell God how you feel. Dear God, this is how I feel. And let God know. That Hannah moment and humbleness with God brings you to full surrenderance. That Hannah moment will change your life forever. After having my Hannah moment with God and complete surrenderance with him, my spiritual eyes were opened and I was forever changed. I had entered my full circle moment. God has always been there for us. God has always and will forever be Jehovah Jireh. God provides for us in the areas we need. God shows up where he is needed in our life. And just because the needs don't look like our wants and it doesn't look like what we want, we believe God isn't there providing for us. But God is there. God is providing for you. He is Jehovah Jireh, and God does not always have to provide for you in a material way. Yes, he can provide for you in a material way, but some of us need God to provide for us in other areas more than we need him to provide for us in a material area. We got other things we need God to provide for us in. A true provider not only brings material provision, but brings food, comfort, and love, and other things you may need that you never knew you needed. God can only bring you what you have the capacity to receive. If you are holding on to things and refusing to cast things to God, then God cannot give you everything he wants you to receive because you are already maxed out in other areas. Your surrenderance and casting your burdens to God are an exchange with God. What are you exchanging with God? Is what you're holding on to worth no exchange? The return and what you receive from God is more than worth your pride, your ego, your control, and your fear. So let it go and allow God to exchange it for something better. You will know you are in full surrenderance to God because you will experience a peace and a joy like no other. The wholeness of God. Ask yourself what you need to exchange in order to experience the wholeness of God. Thank you all so much for watching my video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and remember to travel a road that requires faith. Bye.